Starting this week, tune into TFM Wednesdays live on The Feminine Mind every Wednesday at 9 p.m. GMT. See you there. Welcome to TFM Wednesdays. My name is Linnea and you are tuned into The Feminine Mind. It's such a pleasure to have you here today. I hope everyone's doing really well. You're having a great week so far, and also happy June. I'd like to speak about Diddy. I'd like to look at his behavior through the lens of mental health and even astrology. In previous episodes of Exposing Narcissists, I have spoken about the link between personality disorders and natal charts. I have spoken about the importance of being able to have a look at the sky that you were born under, okay? And how, in my personal experience, I have seen a correlation between those who have extremely dangerous personality disorders like narcissism, sociopathy, and psychopathy, and what is available to look at in regards to their natal chart, which is showing what energies were prevalent on the day and the period within which they were born. So in this video, I'm going to be speaking about Diddy, aka Puff Daddy, aka Puffy, aka Brother Love, aka Sean Combs. Iconic music producer and artist, entrepreneur, a career that spans over 3 decades, okay? Forming much of the tapestry of hip-hop and pop music globally. I'd like to speak about Diddy and not specifically go through all of the details that we've been hearing hashed all over the media. Like, we know what's happened, you get what I'm saying? So I don't want to necessarily sit with those details. I'd like us to look at what can this mean in regards to his personality and whether or not he has a disorder, and even in regards to the sky, for example, that he was born under, does it have some influence on his behavior? And who is he essentially? So what has come out? So for many years, I remember the first set of rumors that I heard in regards to Diddy was in regards to royalties and his artist Mace, okay? And that didn't paint him in a good light because it looked as if he had taken the publishing. I don't know what their deal was, but it really wasn't in the favor of the artist. And now I'm not really sure how much the issue between P Diddy and Mace and the publishing, how much that painted P Diddy's personality in a negative light. I'm sure at the time it was just looked at as like really cutthroat music industry practice. You know, many artists, more than less of the world's artists have experienced exploitation. So I don't think that totally rocked the boat for Diddy, but that was the first thing that I personally heard about him. And so over the years, like, different things have started to come out, but more importantly, over the past few months, we've had Cassie, an artist in her own right, and his ex-partner file this massive lawsuit. Now, we all know about these things. I'd also like to mention that a producer that he worked with also filed a lawsuit against him and several other people, okay? And since then, we've had more women coming and filing lawsuits against Diddy. But the main theme in all of the lawsuits is some type of SA, some type of personal violation, some type of SA, some type of rape, some type of manipulation, some type of abuse. These are consistent themes. Obviously, there have been other things, like his house was raided, you know, by the feds. Basically, his house was raided by the feds. But outside of these civil lawsuits being made, there have been, you know, no clear indicators as to whether his behavior is going to lead to any kind of imprisonment. Is he going to do time basically for any of these behaviors, for any of these actions? Even since the emergence of the video where he's attacking Cassie and basically, him just mistreats her. He was being very violent, very aggressive, monstrous, abusive. There's nowhere to go with that. I wish I could sue him basically for having to see that. As much as she's been through that, just by extension. So these are the things that have come out about him. So there's an unscrupulous energy in business, and then there's also this controlling, violent, abusive partner in love. In addition, there have been rumors about his ex-partner, the mother of his children, or 3 of his children, I think, Kim Porter, who is now deceased. Okay, so she's no longer with us, about how he also was very violent and abusive to her and all types of coercion and stuff like that. It's become clear that things are not right in this picture. It's become clear that there have been some elements at play that have provided some type of protection or a veil where this behavior could, basically not be seen by the wider public, and now it's all coming to light. So I also want to touch on, is his behavior rare? Because when it comes to him as this celebrity, as this businessman, he's got so much money that most people couldn't imagine his reality. Okay, but if we take away the trappings, take away the trappings, take away the trimmings, take away the packaging, you have a man who has power, essentially. This could be measured at a smaller scale to different men in different forms of power, whether it's a business owner. Do you get what I'm saying? Because obviously his level of wealth to the average person is pretty much extreme. Based on the accusations that have come forward in regards to Diddy, one of the things that has been quite unique is that he's receiving accusations from women and men for pretty much the same types of behavior. So that's one of the things that is, to me, is pretty unique about this situation. But including and excluding that, do you get what I'm saying? Him being a man who has a list of exes, essentially, and even women who he hasn't been with, who he has somehow coerced into, being with him. I don't think it's that rare. I think that how extreme it may have been for him may be in proportion to his level of wealth and fame. But if that was to be scaled back, do you get what I'm saying, to an average earning person, these guys do exist essentially in society, and clearly his level of wealth has allowed him to access worlds that maybe only his imagination would be able to occupy. Clearly, if he didn't have that level of wealth, he wouldn't be able to even facilitate a lot of these, I would say, bizarre but extreme habits. He wouldn't be able to facilitate that. But I think if you scale it back, is he rare? I'm not sure. But another question is this a personality disorder? Because essentially, we know what's up, right? Something isn't right. Something is terrible here. We know what's up. We know this behavior is dangerous, sinister, perverse. Talking about even the trafficking, talking about the desire to watch partners, like voyeurism, which doesn't sound like everyone was willing to do this voyeuristic experience. We know there has been an abuse of power, an abuse of authority, and we know that if a certain level of power and authority gets into the wrong person's hands, then anything can happen. And that is what appears to have happened in quite a contained and controlled way within the life of Diddy. Now, another question that I've been asking myself, so what is this? Is this narcissism? there's clearly a strong narcissism present, but is it solely narcissism, or is this sociopathy? Is this psychopathy? Like, what's happening here? And is there something that me, not coming from a mental health background, would I be able to like get a feel for where this person really is on a mental level? And that's the example, you know. Obviously, we haven't been experiencing Diddy in person, but he now represents a type of behavior, okay, that we can seek to identify and know that these behaviors exist amongst people who we may know, people who we may interact with. A narcissist, for example, can be very, very friendly to all of his work associates and literally wreak havoc upon his loved ones. It's not a thing where there's one face for everyone. So it's really important to look at that. I would love to go further into it. I did look at his astrology. I looked at the sky he was born under. I looked in the Western system and in an ancient system as well, so I could get like a good view of what that energy is that he has. And looking at his charts, you know, it was quite a prophetic reading, especially if you read someone's chart, you know, when they've already lived like 50 years plus. You can really see like, oh my God, I understand through looking at his chart. So let me know if you want me to even break that down to you guys. I can do a live, you know, exploration of his chart. But I was able to understand so many things about how his career has uniquely woven itself. Like it's almost like it's just how can I say this? His career is linked to his friends. Okay? Very much, like, and there's a very interesting relationship with friends in his chart. Very, very interesting. And it's very much a part of what he has been allowed to experience and how he's been able to propel forward in certain ways. But it's also been what has become the undoing of him, you know? And you can see that, like, basically, I could see definitely a potential for a lot of generosity and kindness, okay? A lot of generosity and kindness, and also a potential for a lot of absolute cruelty. Yeah, like, that's all there in his chart. So I actually do think that I should bring that forward to start to show this to you. But what I didn't see was the stereotypical placement that just represents, dun, 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 you know, this person's a straight up narc. But what I did see, which I do feel has just as much importance, okay, it's just as important, is P Diddy has a lot of karmic debts in that he is having a cycle of lifetimes through which he will start to learn and get rid of some very bad ways. So obviously we're just observing within this life, if you can allow yourself to imagine that, right? If you can allow yourself to imagine that, we're just, you know, we're in this life. We're not observing the fact that maybe he's got 10 lives of very similar lessons to work out a very strong aspect of his soul. So he's doing time right now. He's been doing time. Like, this life has a lot of doing time. That's one of the more difficult aspects of his chart. It's almost like doing time for my past crimes, but beyond the single mortal life, but in several lifetimes. And I know, I don't mean that to say, oh, let's be all empathetic. You can take it how you want to take it. But he's definitely, you know what, I was really surprised by Diddy's chart. I was really surprised because I don't know him. Okay, and even though I don't know him, for the good and for the bad, even some interesting things like he's got Neptune, the most dreamiest planet, is in his first house. But when you meet him, you're not really sure. There's almost like it could be an ethereal or a chameleonistic type of quality where you're not sure who that is you're meeting, and he's just got a lot of interesting placements. That's what it was. And the placements, for almost every placement in his chart, for me as someone, I don't know him, I could find like an example almost of that behavior, one way or the other. So very interesting to look at. So obviously it's easy to, and I think it's quite interesting because I'm sure mental health is like anti-astrology. I don't know, but I don't think mental health could be 100% anti-astrology when they know that at full moon the emergency room is full up of people, and people are more likely to have some accidents. So they must know there's something in something. But I find it interesting on both sides. Some people might be like, look, that guy's a straight up psycho. Like, no, that's absolutely psycho. And there is that behavior when he was attacking Cassie. Oh, that's psycho. To me, in my opinion, oh, that's some psycho stuff. That's totally psycho. That's like, I don't even have words for it, you know. But what can we say? What can we say? Please let me know your thoughts about all of these issues in relation to Diddy, and remember to create a safe space for yourself when you're watching this violent, abusive, traumatizing content. You know, it is someone's real life experience, but it can also have a negative impact on your own mental well-being. So make sure that you check that at the door. You know, be quite attentive in regards to what you're observing online. That's why I didn't actually even want any kind of visuals for this. It's just a conversation essentially. So it's been lovely being with you. Please join me again next week for TFM Wednesdays, and you'll see other content throughout the week as well. And if you're new here, please subscribe, hit the notification bell, as I'm going towards 1,000 subscribers. I'm really excited. I'm like, yes, let me be more consistent, you know. I guess we could now say this is, albeit a little bit late, journey to 1K. So I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care, everyone. Also, thank you to everyone with your great comments. You have me cracking up. Like, I laugh a lot. I learn a lot from the comment section. So thank you so much. And I'll see you soon. My name is Linnea, and you have been listening to The Feminine Mind.